Hi. As promised in the last video, I promised that in my next video, which is this one, I'm going to show the code example of how you can run that isolate in your code. So right now, I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to do it together. So, all right, so this is the code and it's pretty simple by the look of it. Let me refresh it. It's just a basic app where we have an increment button, which just increments the number by 1 once you click it. And we're going to use it to judge the performance of our application, the responsiveness of our application. And then for this button, this is what we're going to use in order to trigger the heavy task. From the code perspective here, if you look at it, it's just basic app bar text to show the count, and then the increment button, and then the heavy task button. Let's go ahead and make the heavy task function. So we're gonna just make it right here, and I'm gonna call it heavy task, and it's going to return an int. So let's give it that. Okay. Make an int result, set it to 0, and then have a for loop that counts to, how much is this? Say a billion minus 1. And then for every count, what we're going to do is we're going to set result to be equals to I. For every 1000, we're just going to use this for every 1000 I. So this is just a way for us to see whether our application is running, whereby we print it in the terminal and just to kind of just get the sense of where things are going. So yeah, something is wrong with this function. I don't even know what it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, we are not returning the value. And after everything is done, we're just going to return the result. And here inside our function, here, what we're going to do is run heavy task, and then we just need to call it heavy task, and it's going to return the value. So let's say final result is equals to run heavy task, which returns an integer, and we call a set state to update our UI. So we say loading is equals to false, say result is equals to, let's change the name here, call it value, and the result is equals to value. So this is what we do right now, and this task is pretty heavy and we're going to run it to see if it's going to work. So for now, let me restart my application and we're going to try and run this increment button to just confirm that everything is working, that the UI is responsive. After that, we're going to run the run heavy task button. This is going to run this heavy method. So let's do it. As you can see here in the terminal, you can see the print, it's printing every 1000. But if we come here and try to update the UI increment, it's not working. Why? It's actually incrementing in the background, but it's not changing the UI because the main thread is busy doing this, carrying out this heavy task. And here it's supposed to show a loading indicator. It's not showing. Why? Because it's still counting. The main thread is doing a lot of work. So yeah, let's wait for it to finish and we can actually implement that isolate to help us carry out this very difficult task. All right, let's wait for it. Still waiting. This is a lot of task. I didn't know it would take this long, but all right, you see, after running the task completely to the end, it's decided to increment to 15 because I've clicked this increment button 15 times and it's already counting it in the background, but it couldn't show me in the UI because it's busy with another task. And here we see 99999, the last I value. We're supposed to see a loading indicator, but we didn't see it. Why? Because there are lots of things going on in the background. So what we're going to do is I'm going to rewrite this heavy task and try and run it using that isolate to see what's going on. So first of all, let's make this static, and it's going to receive a send port. Think of send port as your phone number. So if someone has a message for you, he sends it through your phone number. So just think of send port as that. And after doing our calculation here, we're going to say send port dot send. We are sending to your phone number, and you sending, what are we sending? We send the result. So this is the main change that we need to make here in the task. And then here we're going to spawn our isolate. First thing you need is a receiver port. So let me create a receiver instance. We're going to instantiate it right there and then, and we're going to spawn an isolate. Spawning an isolate means just an instance of isolate running on the separate thread. So when we call this spawn, it assigns a separate thread for the task. And what is the name of the task? It's going to be heavy task. And the heavy task takes send port, but which of the phone number? Send port, as I said, is like a phone number. So which of the phone number are we talking about right now? The receiver's phone number. So receiver port dot send port, which is my phone number in this case, or the main thread's phone number. So if you do this, since it's not going to be like a string, it's just going to return one value. So what we're going to do is we say final value is equals to, we're going to await it since it's going to be a future, and then here make it async. We're going to await it and say receive port dot first, meaning dot first value. The first value is going to be received, and we're going to store it inside the value. And this value right now is our latest count. After it's finished everything, we need the result back, and this is going to bring out our result, the first value of the result. And then we're going to update our set state, and the value should work. So if everything works, hopefully, let's run the app and see. I'm gonna start everything, and let's confirm that our increment is working. Okay, we are at 5 right now. So let's run the heavy task, this time with the isolate, and see. So as you can see, the first thing you're going to notice is the UI is updating, and the heavy task is already working. And if we try to increment this value, it's incrementing, whereas before it doesn't, because it's doing a lot of work. But now it has delegated that work to another thread, and it focuses right now on just updating my UI and making me happy. And I like being happy. Before, we don't even see this loading indicator. So now we just wait for it to finish, and once it's done, it's going to update our text right here. It's very important to mention that you don't always need isolates. We only need isolates in some very specific scenarios. This is just an example, a demonstration of how you use it. But most of the time, in most of the tasks that you're going to do, using futures, await and async is enough for you to run your task. So let's just wait for it to finish, and once it's done, we're just going to see the response. It has updated, and now we are seeing our last value, and we were able to increment while it was running the same task in parallel, and we can see that our application is showing the loading indicator. So this is kind of impressive. If you like this video, I'm going to be dropping other videos, not necessarily Flutter related. I still don't know what I'm going to be doing with this channel. So yeah, just hang around and see where the channel heads. And thank you for your time.